What is up, guys? Jeremy here, your favorite financial advisor and financialpreneur at school.com/financial coaching. I do not like to be the diss track guy, but I recently had an experience and I need to share it with whoever needs to hear it to warn you about Discover Bank and to discourage you from banking with Discover Bank. So normally, right, I'm not trying to just douse someone with haterade, and I would hypothetically normally let this pass, except that Discover Bank, some things you need to know. One, they are marketing themselves as the no fee and no gimmick bank. I mean, they're front page. They're like advertising just how plain and simple and non-gimmicky they are as a bank. And what I want to walk you through is a story, and I want you to answer for yourself the question, does this sound gimmicky or does this sound like not gimmicky? Does this sound like no fees or does this sound like fees? Those are the two questions you just need to answer for yourself, okay? So that's one thing you need to know, is they advertise themselves as not having banking fees that you traditionally expect at a different bank. They advertise themselves as not being gimmicky about their fee structure. And also they advertise themselves to Discover credit card users. There are no physical branches of Discover Bank. So people don't go to a Discover Bank to set up a business loan, to set up a mortgage, to get a car loan. Like, it is their credit card that is their leading customer driving product. There are about 60 million credit card users of Discover, and it's some portion of those users that might be enticed to also open a Discover Bank account. To compare Chase Bank, there's probably a lot of people that use Chase Bank that don't use Chase credit cards. At least some portion of people, right? Because they are huge physical branches. They have lots of different services, etc. They have 18 million account holders at their bank, compared to they have 80 million card holders. So if Chase Bank, a far more popular bank than Discover Bank, still has less than 25% of its card holders using their bank, then it's safe to say that Discover is at least a good bit less than that. Maybe 20%, maybe 15%. The whole point of this little rabbit trail is to reiterate to you that the only people that use Discover Bank are Discover credit card holders. And now let me go into why this is important as it relates to the no fee claim and the no gimmick claim of Discover Bank. So this happened to me recently, right? My card statement is due. It's like $2,000. I have a Discover card that I got as a college student because they have a great college student branded credit card. And the statement was due, so I go in to pay the statement, pay the $2,000 or whatever it was from my bank account at Bank of America. And then I go on, the next day or whatever the day it was supposed to go through, and I see in my Discover checking account negative $2,000 or whatever, because I don't keep any money in that account. I mean, maybe there was like $250 in there. So now it's negative $1,700. And I'm thinking, oh no, I accidentally paid my card statement from my Discover bank account and not from my Bank of America bank account. At this point, I literally get an email from Discover saying, hey, you overdrew your account. Don't worry. Just get us the money when you have it. No big deal. we're the no gimmick, no fee bank. And I'm thinking, awesome. But I'm also thinking, I don't really trust you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, sorry, I'm wailing on the horn because this car is just stopped in the middle of the intersection. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to initiate a bank transfer right now from my Bank of America account to my Discover checking account for $2,000 or whatever. A next day transfer, right? So it's just got to be there for one day where it has this negative $1,700 balance. I'm going to make it right within one day. I've already heard from Discover that, hey, it's no problem. The money gets sent. I log on to Discover and it says, hey, money has been received, like it is settled in the account on whatever date. And it says, but here's the available date for the money, and they set it out like a week later. Simultaneously, so why is this important? Sorry for the low quality of this video. Discover credit card holders, like the Discover Bank users, are Discover credit card holders. What do you think is a primary purpose that a Discover Bank user would use their bank for? To pay off their Discover card statements, right? So this is not that abnormal of a situation. And I'll tell you why I know it's not abnormal. Because the Discover credit card slaps you with a fee and sends the money back to your bank, and it says, hey, returned check fee, here's $30 or whatever. So basically, Discover Bank, they shift the overdraft fee from their bank to their credit card, when traditionally a credit card would just reject the payment, or the bank would be drawn down into the negative, and then maybe the bank would charge you a fee. At Discover, they basically charge you the banking fees within the credit card account. Now you call in, so I would already say, to me, this is already kind of gimmicky, right? But I call in and I'm like, hey, I've got the money right there. Don't return. First of all, you already emailed me and told me not to worry about it. And then I sent the money, and now you're still charging me with fees. And here's what's also going to happen is they're going to charge you interest on that whole statement period, right? You pay it on the statement date, and then they reject the payment. They send it back to the bank account, not because the funds aren't in the bank account. Like, the funds are already there. You already transferred them in. They're good to go. No, because they're not available yet. So they intentionally will not allow you to transfer money into your bank account to cover a charge that overdrew your bank account. They won't allow you to do that. So I call in and I'm like, hey, just make the funds available. Like, because now I'm going to I got hit with this $30 fee. Now I'm going to get hit with $100 of interest or whatever it is. And my credit score is going to get hit because now it says I have a late payment, right? Like, this is so dramatic. And I really just want you to use the money that's in there, that I put in there. I want you to use that for this transaction. And I'm sorry that I accidentally clicked the wrong bank account for this to be paid through. But what else was I supposed to do? Now, here's what's crazy. Two things, right? The Discover helpline. I mean, first I'm talking to this person that's like, no, you're good. Like, the funds are there. The payment's going to go through. You're not going to be charged a fee. It's no problem. And I'm telling her, I'm like, no, look, yes, I am. I'm telling you, you're about to charge me a fee. She's like, no, you shouldn't be good. Like, whatever. And so eventually she's like, let me just transfer you to a manager. I'm like, yeah, that would be great. I talked to the manager. The manager's like, yeah, you're going to be charged those fees. I'm like, why? Because the money's there. He's like, yeah, sorry about that. I'm like, okay, so if I can't transfer money in to cover an overdraft, what should I have done? And he said, I mean, and I'm like, no, what's the situation here? I'm like, are you saying that to cover this overdraft, I would have had to same day deposit cash into an ATM? Which Discover doesn't even have bank branches. Their ATMs are like all in like sketch gas stations, and I've tried to use them on multiple occasions, and every time I've tried to use them, they've failed. And he's like, yep, that's the only way. I'm like, wow. So that's the that doesn't sound gimmicky to you? I said, what if I wired money in instead of an ACH transfer? Then would you make it available? And he was like, yeah, maybe, whatever, like a wire should be fine. I'm like, okay, great. Well, I already have this $2,000 that's suspended inside of Discover. So now we got to come up with another $2,000. Like, let me wire over $2,000 from Bank of America to hit my Discover bank account. Even though I'm going to get charged a wire fee from Bank of America, at least the Discover account will have the funds settled, like immediately available, right? Same day. And then the payment will go through, and then I won't get charged the interest or the return check fee or the late payment on my credit score, right? Golly. So I talked to this guy on the phone. He says, yeah, that should be good. I do it, pay the money, do the wire transfer fee, and it still doesn't work. I'm like, what the frick? These people are crazy. And so ultimately, the last thing I want to mention is that all these fees, I'm like, well, maybe I can talk to the Discover Bank Help and maybe they will just like refund the fees, right? Because this is kind of crazy that I'm getting charged these fees. I recognize it's my fault, but they're not making it any easier, and they're making it kind of gimmicky, if I would say so myself. Kind of feesy. So I call them. I'm like, hey, here's the deal. I got hit with this fee, this interest fee, this late payment fee. Oh, you talking about credit cards? Oh, sorry. This is the Discover Bank helpline. Oh, you want to talk to the credit card people? Let me transfer you to the credit card people. Okay, great. Go to the credit card people. The credit cards where all the fees happen, right? So the bank people, they can't help with the credit card fees. You got to talk to the credit card people about the credit card fees. Okay, let me go to the credit card. Hey, you want to refund these fees? Here's the situation. Discover Bank. I don't know why y'all do this. Oh! Did you just say Discover Bank? You mean the bank wouldn't let your funds be available? Oh, I got to transfer you back to the bank. Like, oh my gosh. It's all just plausible deniability. So they're reps. So this is intentional, obviously intentional gimmicky separation. At Bank of America, you call them up, you know what that customer rep can see? They can see your credit card accounts, they can see your bank accounts. You want to talk to them about something, you can talk to them about it. Discover, no. The bank people can only talk about the bank things, credit card people can only talk about the credit card things, and neither of them have enough information to rectify your situation, because the bank is the one that's being gimmicky, but the credit card is the one that's charging you the fees. Just like they schemed it up. So, the one thing I will say about Discover Bank is they made closing my bank accounts very easy. I just put in a message, close my account, please. The next day it was closed. I didn't get a call, didn't get a confirmation. It wasn't there anymore. And I was like, I don't know if someone on the message center knew that I had called in like 3 times 5 days leading up to that message, but for whatever reason, they gladly closed my account without making any fuss about it. And I'm not trying to make any fuss about it either, although I am being a little bit bodacious, a little bit silly in this presentation of information. But I'm willing to take responsibility for my choices and to control what I can control, which is that I don't want to have this bank account open anymore. And honestly, I obviously didn't use them very much either. I had a savings account and a checking account with Discover Bank. Now I don't. Now I don't. And it's as simple as that. And I'm making this video not primarily just to complain or mope, because obviously I could have avoided this situation, but mainly to warn people, particularly if you don't have an extra $2,000 to transfer, right? Because I had to transfer $2,000 and I had to wire another $2,000. If you don't have, and even if you do, just letting you know, Discover knows that the main customer base for Discover Bank is Discover credit card holders. And they know the main thing you're going to do with your Discover Bank account is pay off your Discover statements. And if you ever overdraft on a Discover payment to Discover cards, they are going to mess you around in a very gimmicky and cheap way. And so I just wanted to make that public knowledge because I felt a little surprised, honestly. I had been a happy customer of Discover for like 12 years or something. And then they come out here with this bogusness. 12 years running, this hadn't happened to me. Because normally I pay with money that I got. But I accidentally paid with the wrong account this time. Alright. Let me know what you think in the comments. Sound gimmicky to you? Sound feezy to you? Or are you mainly like, Jeremy, you're dumb, and also, why'd you honk that many times at that poor driver? Let me know what you think. All right, that's all I got for you in this one. I'll talk to y'all soon.